So today's episode is going to be a real podcaster's podcast. I actually have quite a few different topics that I wanted to talk about and touch upon today. So if you like that kind of a podcast, this is kind of the thing for you. It's just me going to be talking about a bunch of different topics. I don't have one specific concept to talk about today. It's just kind of me reflecting on certain times in my life, talking about certain things, certain ideas, certain concepts, and just bringing some things and some value and some substance to you, the viewer, so that you can learn something from it, and also you can be entertained by it. It's really just going to be, as I've said, a podcaster's podcast. It's gonna be a proper podcasty thing. It's not gonna be like, oh, I'm going over a concept. No, because there's quite a few things in my life that I've just been thinking about right now. So I just wanted to kind of talk about it on this podcast. Just wanted to make my thoughts known to the world and to all those that are watching. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you learn something, and I hope that it's entertaining and fun, and it's a good blend of all things. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that I am getting back after it. I'm getting after it again. I'm dedicating my life again. I'm grinding again. I'm really on that hard work again. If you've been like a long time follower of the show, like from day one, basically, because it was only on like day 6 I made this video, I was talking a lot about the importance of waking up early in the morning, the difference in how you feel and how productive you are during your days when you wake up early in the morning versus when you sleep in. And in recent times, I have been deciding, okay, let's get after it again, because I've been sleeping in way too much. Obviously, I've been trying to enjoy my summer. Been trying to just sleep in, have fun time, do some things with friends, all that kind of stuff in the summer. But now that I'm approaching and starting to get, as it's summer's ending and I'm approaching getting to the next stage of my life, I want to be prepared for it. I want to be ready for it. So I'm starting by getting after it again, by just waking up early again. And pretty much throughout my life, whenever I felt like I've been stagnating, whenever I felt like I've been kind of messing up, I'm not where I want to be mentally or even physically or even spiritually, the first thing I do is I start by getting up early in the morning and starting my day with a workout. I haven't actually done the workout yet today because I'm recording, like the way I'm doing it now is I'm just recording the podcast first. But it's very early in the morning, and then when I'm done this recording, I'm gonna go and do my workout and get into the day properly, and then of course do the editing, all that stuff for the show, and do the other things that I gotta do for the day. But I'm getting back after, because I think it's that kind of time in my life again where I'm like, okay, where have I found discipline? Where have I found stuff to actually help me move forward in my life? It started with the morning. It started by winning the first hour of your day, winning the first couple of hours of your day, and then from there letting that build into a very productive morning. Get as many things that you can get done in the morning, and then have the time in the afternoon to take a nap if you're super tired, and then of course get a few extra things done, and then you have the evening to yourself to just kind of chill, or maybe you go out with friends, do whatever, right? Whatever the thing is, right? When I have that discipline, and it's the structure and it's the consistency of doing it every day, not just one day on, one day off, it helps me kind of be in a better state of mind. It helps me be in a more kind of positive state of mind. Of course, working out is obviously good for you. You're starting the day right. You're doing the right things in the beginning of your day so that you can get stuff done. And I'm kind of like getting back into those pathways in my life. It's been how it's been in my life. When I would wake up early, things would be good. It would be structure. I'm a guy that likes to have a lot of structure in my days. Clearly, if you watch this show a lot, you could tell that I'm a guy that likes to have structure in my days. That I think a lot about these things. That I think a lot in general. So whenever I kind of fall off the wagon, and last few weeks I feel like I've been doing that, where I've just kind of been sleeping in every day. Some days I'd be waking up at like 8:30, but other days it'd be like 9, 10 o'clock. And to me, that's late, and to me that causes me, you feel that like it's a different type of tiredness. It's that like laziness. You don't want to do anything. You're just kind of like stretching, like right. You're yawning, stretching, and you're doing that, and it's like you're not you're not gonna get anything productive done, right? Whereas what I've been realizing is like, well, it's not, I've not been realizing, I've just been kind of reiterating and restructuring that pathway in my mind again, which is like reminding myself of it, which is like, you can get to noon, you can get to lunchtime and have been awake for 6 hours and got pretty much everything you need to get done. Or you can get to lunchtime and you've been awake for 1 hour or 2 hours and you've basically done nothing. So, like, it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference in productivity. It's like the basic productivity tip is just get up a little bit earlier. and be in bed a bit earlier the night before and get up a little bit earlier every morning, and you can get so much more done. Like, it's insane how much more you can get done. So I'm just kind of reiterating that point for myself, reminding myself of those pathways, and just truly in the purest form getting back after it, right? Getting after it, attacking life again, waking up and starting the day with a workout, starting the day with the physical body and improving that, right? Not eating breakfast until I'm done the workout. So first few hours of the day, no food in my body, because I want to just get in it. I want to feel that pain of the tiredness, that pain of the hunger, so that you're starting the day with discipline. You're starting the day properly, so that when I get into the other things of the day, I can be ready to go and I can be productive. So that's kind of what I've been doing right now, and I just wanted to kind of remind you guys, just as I've been reminding myself, about the importance of waking up early in the morning, and just the big, massive difference you have in your overall mood, how you feel. You're going to be a bit tired. That's how it is. That's how life goes. But it allows you to get stuff done, so that you can potentially take a nap in the afternoon if you have the luxury to do that. And of course, it allows you to just have, again, more productivity. You can be in bed a bit earlier, and you'll actually go to bed feeling tired, which is always a good thing, because that means you'll fall asleep quick, rather than you wake up late and then you just kind of go to sleep late as well. And it's just a bad pattern. It's bad habits. And it really does make a huge difference in your mood, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about the day. Like, my days are probably pretty similar, whether I wake up early or not. Like, I'll be doing a gym workout, maybe in the afternoon, maybe in the evening, sometimes a double session, sometimes not. And then I'll be making a podcast, I'll be making a short video, I'll be doing some reading, I'll be doing some learning, some growing, I'll be applying to some jobs, which I'll be touching upon in this episode, what I'm working on there. Like, I'll kind of be doing all of these things regardless. But it's just a difference. I don't know what it is. You wake up early and you get it done early and quick, and you get it out of the way early. It just makes a difference in your overall mood. You feel like you get to the end of the day and you feel better. It's like, today was a good day. You were disciplined because you woke up early, you did your workout early, and you got stuff done. Whereas if you woke up late and you got everything done, but you kind of meandered along, it didn't feel efficient, it didn't feel productive, you get to the end of the day and you kind of feel like, it could have been better, right? So I don't know what it is. Just waking up early in the morning and starting your day with a workout makes a huge difference. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know the pathways in your mind that you're training. It probably has to do with just the discipline of doing something difficult and then persevering and overcoming it to get everything done. That makes you feel better about yourself, but it really truly does make you feel better about yourself. You get to the end of the day and you're like, yes, today was a good, productive day, even if you did like the same things that you would have done waking up late. I don't know what it is, but yes, the goal in life, you want to win every day. You want to take it one day at a time. You want to win every day. You want to stay positive, and you want to, of course, build a life that you want for your future, right? And every day and everything that you do every day is contributing in one way or another to the life that you want in the future, whether in a good way or a bad way. Whether in a positive way, you're actually contributing to the life you want, or in a negative way, you're not contributing to the life you want. You're contributing to maybe a life of laziness, a life of problems, right? A life of stagnation, which I don't think anybody wants. Think about life like that. Everything that you do, every decision you make, it contributes one way or another to the life that you're going to be having in the future. So that's why I always default back to waking up early in the morning, because I find that is always the way that I kind of can have that structure, that discipline that allows me to get more done. And you get the workout out of the way. It's pretty good. And even if you're tired, you can deal with it. Like, tiredness is really it. Like, I've been learning that tiredness really is a feeling that you can deal with, that you can push through, that you can persevere on. That, like, you shouldn't let it affect your day. There have been, I can tell many, many stories about how I did let it affect my day, and how I did let it affect my mood, and how I did make me negative and depressed about certain situations. Specifically when I was working my recent job at a gym few months ago, where I had to wake up extremely early. Right now I'm waking up at like 6:30. 6:30 is the time for me. It's a good solid time. It's a good middle ground. But when I had to wake up at 4:30 to go to work, it was a little bit different type of pathways, because it was just like I would let those things overcome me. But I've been learning that it's like, actually, like, tiredness is not that bad. Like, tiredness is something that you can really overcome. Obviously, you have to have a balance. Like, if you're literally waking up at 4:30, if you're like in bed at like 12 and up at 4:30, if you're sleeping 3 to 5 hours every day, after a couple weeks that will take a toll on you. If you're doing that every single day, you're definitely going to feel the pain. and it's going to be like you're actually going to hurt yourself, you're going to harm yourself. So you need to have some days where you're sleeping good long amounts of time and good high quality sleep. But if you go like a week and you get like 6 hours of sleep, or you have to go through a certain season in your life where you can't sleep a lot because you have stuff that you got to do, right? People in the military, for example, that's an example, right? It's like you wake up at 4 in the morning because that is the schedule. That is the discipline that comes with being in that environment. You can overcome it. Like, your body is perfectly capable, and there's systems in your body capable of overcoming those tired feelings. Like, tiredness, at the end of the day, tiredness is actually like, it's actually something that's very, very, like, overcomable. You can absolutely push through it. Like, it's the one thing that you can, like, just push through. Your body will figure it out as it goes along. And then, of course, eventually you'll crash. But when that crash happens, ideally, if you've planned it correctly, it's when you need to go to sleep anyway. So then you go to sleep, your head hits the pillow, you fall asleep right away, you have a great night's sleep, and you wake up and you go again the next day, right? There are many feelings and emotions we have, but tiredness and that kind of sluggishness whenever you have like a bad night of sleep, it is probably one of the more easier things to deal with, and it is one of the more easier things to overcome. Truly, like, if you truly believe you have that within you, it is really easy. Like, you realize just how just how much more capable the human body and the human mind is than you really even realize. Like, it allows you to do many things. Like, you see people how they run, like, they do these crazy marathons where they're literally running 200 miles in like a week, and they're not getting any sleep at night, and they're just running that distance straight on. Like, you realize, like, it's like the human body and the human mind are capable of so many things, right? So you're gonna let, like, a little bit of tiredness, oh, you had 6 hours of sleep instead of 8 hours of sleep, you're gonna let that affect you, right? Like, that's kind of what I've been thinking about. It's like, you're gonna let that affect you. It's actually much easier to overcome than you might think, right? Obviously, you gotta be careful because, again, if you don't get sleep at all, right, or if you only get a few hours of sleep and you're doing that for a period of time, it will quickly catch up to you, for sure. It will very quickly catch up to you. But if you have a few days where you're sleeping and it's not the best sleep, and you're waking up in the morning and you're feeling tired, you can get through that. You can get through that relatively quickly in comparison to other things in life that you're going to have to overcome and endure. Like, that little tiredness, it's nothing, right? In comparison to, sleeping in and that kind of lazy type of tiredness, sometimes that's actually harder to overcome than that like just sleep deprivation level of tiredness. That lazy tiredness is sometimes harder to overcome because it's the comfort, right? It's the comfort, it's the good feeling, it's like, then you just get into, like, you're on your phone and you're scrolling and you're just focusing on the dopamine rather than the productivity, right? So bad feelings end up turning into something good in the long run, and that's, I think, the truth of life. And it starts with how you go about your morning. It starts about how you wake up in the morning. It starts about how you go and how productive you are with your day. And I find that getting after it in that way, waking up early, is a very good thing to do. It's what I do to default back to kind of where I want to be, where I want to be mentally, of course, where I'm trying to go with my life, putting eggs in the basket of who I want to be in the future. Getting up early in the morning is always the thing that's good for me. So I'm in that moment in my life right now where I'm getting back into that. But that's kind of my little rant and my little spiel on the whole getting up in the morning thing and what it does to you. It does make you feel a little bit different about many different things. And I can't really put my finger on it. I just say try for yourself, right? Can you go a week and every day you wake up at 6:30, or can you wake up at whatever? If it's 5 a.m. for you, it's 5 a.m. If it's 7 a.m., it's 7 a.m. Like, maybe before 8 o'clock is, like, probably, like, a good, like, what I would consider early, right? Can you get up at that time every day, and can you be efficient with your mornings every day for a week? Do it for a week, and then see how much different your days are that week versus the week where you sleep in every day. It's a big difference. It's a very, very big difference. So I would definitely recommend that for you. And obviously, if you're working a job, obviously that's different. And obviously, I've talked about it. If you're working a job, you have to get up early, right? You have to get up early. And that's the difference, right? If you have that luxury where you choose to get up early, it's a huge difference, right? It's a huge difference. Like, I can't stress that enough. It is that freedom. You have the freedom to sleep in and do whatever you want with your time, but you still choose to get up early and get after it. That's way different of a feeling than you have to get up to go to work or to go to school, right? That can sometimes be a little bit depressing because it's like that's life. You got to get through it. But the choosing to get up early, on the days where you don't have work, you still decide to get up early because you're getting after it. That's something that is way different. It's a way different pathway in your mind, and it's a way different level of discipline, and it's a level of freedom that you're choosing to be disciplined. And that is like you can't really put a number on it as to how valuable that is for your mind and for like the whole callousing your mind type of thing and being disciplined and getting after it in life. You have to choose to get after it. You have to choose to wake up early in the morning. If you have to because you have to go to work or school, it's a little bit more depressing. It really just is. Like, I've gone through it. I've been through it. It really is just a little bit more depressing, and it is just harder to deal with and overcome it in life, right? So it's a big difference, right? And if you're working, you're just gonna have to go through it. And you're just gonna have to understand that, like, that's life, right? You have to work, you have to go to school, like, that's how it goes, right? But like, if you have the opportunity to get up early or sleep in, and you have the opportunity to sleep in, but you choose to get up early, that is what makes it better. That is what gives you that discipline, and that's probably what makes you feel a little bit better about yourself when you go through your day that day and you got everything done and you were productive with your day and you can put your head on the pillow and fall asleep right away because you were actually tired when you went to bed. That's what made it better, is because you chose to do it. You had that freedom of choice and you chose the disciplined option. You chose the path of most resistance for your day by waking up early and by getting after it. That's what kind of makes you feel great, and I think that's like a maybe one small ingredient of the meal, of the pot of a fulfilling life, is choosing, when you have the choice to be disciplined or lazy, choosing most resistance versus least resistance, choosing the hard versus the comfortable. You choose the difficult. That's, I think, like that's a big step for your own self-esteem, for your own for your own identity as to who you are. And you're putting eggs in the basket, of course, being a disciplined person, who you want to be in the future. I think it is an ingredient to the pot of fulfillment in your life. It is very different when you actually have to go to work and you have to wake up early. You're just gonna have to get through it, right? But yes, that is my thing when it comes to waking up early. And yes, I did want to kind of add to that as well. It's the freedom of choice to do it that makes it very different, and it makes it, of course, very much more important for your days and for your life. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, of course, obviously I'm getting after it. That's gonna be kind of my main theme in these next couple of weeks as I get to the point where it's gonna be my next phase of life. It's the next season of my life. Now I'm just gonna kind of shift topics. I'm going on to the next thing. I hurt my shoulder, bro. My shoulder is cooked, dude. If you watched the episode last week about the baseball trial I went on, my shoulder's cooked, and I wanted to talk about just the mechanics of it. It's like in baseball, you gotta throw, right? You're throwing hard, you're catching, you're hitting, you're swinging. There's a lot of shoulder movement, and because in my life I've been a football guy, I've been a soccer guy, and of course I still am. I've been using my feet. You use your feet, and it's kind of different things and different pathways that you're doing. So then you're kind of gonna have to shift to just throwing. My shoulder's not built for that, man. Mechanically, my shoulders are not built for that. So, of course, after I've just thrown hard, been in a tryout, been in that really high level environment, I'm cooked, dude, right? My shoulder's absolutely cooked. And yesterday I was in the gym and it was pain. It was actually genuinely painful. And every time I lifted in a certain way, it cracks. And that's, I'm gonna have to really work on recovery for that, but it really is not good. It really is not good. So just to say, if you're gonna be playing a different sport, if you've played a sport your whole life and you're dabbling into a second sport, just know that your mechanics are not gonna be up to standard. There's certain things that translate sport to sport, but there are a lot of things that don't translate, right? It's in soccer, in football, the way you play the sport of football, it doesn't translate to baseball at all, right? Unless you're a goalkeeper. Maybe as a goalkeeper, you're going to have to be doing a lot of those motions, but for me, I wasn't a goalkeeper. I haven't been a goalkeeper since I was a kid. So these are new movements for me, right? Playing baseball and throwing the ball in the way that you have to throw the ball, and it's dude, it really did cook my shoulder, and I really am going to have to take a break a little bit on this shoulder. I'm going to have to rest it a bit, but But obviously, me being a personal trainer, officially now certified, me knowing about these things, the importance of injury prevention, right? And how you can prevent injury. I have a lot more knowledge on that subject and on that stuff. So it's a good thing. So at least I'm using, if I'm not going to be using my personal training course to actually be a personal trainer, at least I have it for my own knowledge that when I have an issue like my shoulder issue, or if I want to go harder in the gym or something like that, I know how I can do it, and I have better ways and methods of how I can do it because of my training and because of the knowledge I have now about like what it would take to be a personal trainer. So that's always good. It's always something that I'm thinking about, and I'm just reflecting on this thing. But yeah, like if you're ever going to get into a different sport after you've played like one sport or a couple sports your whole life and you want to get into a new sport, be careful. Be very careful because your mechanics just aren't built for that, and you're gonna see that you're gonna get sore quickly, you're gonna get injured quickly, and that's literally what I'm feeling right now. That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. Is that like I've never been injured my whole life, and obviously it's not a real injury. Like in a few days, my shoulder will probably be healed if I just rest up. But I've been having to do a little bit. I've been having to do quite a little bit of resting up. Before the tryout, I had to rest up because the shoulder was hurting regardless. So when the point is, I've never been injured, and I'm very lucky. I praise God that I've never been injured. I've kept my body really strong and really fit for a long time, and the most I've had is I've had like a small niggle, and I've had to just have like a couple of days where I've just had to like just rest, right? Just a couple of days where I've had to be off my feet and just rest for a little bit. Some back issues at times, knee issues at times, and now the shoulder thing. But yes, you're only increasing the risk of injury if you having not your mechanics are not built for a different type of a sport, a different type of emotion, and then you're just going hard 100%, right? Baseball, you're just throwing as hard as you can. It's like that's not smart, and perhaps for me, it was not really a smart thing to go and do because I'm just not really built for it. But yes, like imagine like you throw it as hard as you can, or even if you play like you play not baseball, you play sports where you're throwing and then you're moving to football where you're doing a lot of kicking. Same type of thing. You're probably gonna feel it in your groin, in your hips. It's probably gonna feel the most pain. Maybe in your knees you're gonna be feeling the most pain. In your ankles probably as well. Like the joints, man. You got the importance of keeping the joints secured and to keep the joints mobile is super important. Like there's a whole science behind it, but it's not really talked about as much. It's like obviously the muscles are talked about, the bones are talked about, but your joints, dude. When you're playing sports, the importance of your joints, I cannot stress it enough, right? I cannot stress it enough because think about the worst injuries that people have. It's in their joints. It's because it snapped. Their joints or their tendons or things holding it, like your joints hold your body together, right? And if you're not taking care of them, if you're not focused on doing mobility work and you're focused on stretching them properly, strengthening them properly, you are going to like it's going to be the worst injury, right? The worst injury you can have is an ACL injury, and your ACL is in your knee. It's a joint that's a part of your knee joint. Your knee is, all your joints is kind of a bunch of different tendons and connections and cartilage kind of put together in one little area. That's really what a joint is. Your ACL is just like it's just a tendon, and it's a part of the joint. It's a connector. People get meniscus injuries, people get PCL injuries, posterior cruciate ligament. Those are all part of your knees. Those are some of the worst injuries you can have, and you're out of sport for 6 months to a year minimum, sometimes longer. Your Achilles, which is part of your ankle joint. Well, I mean, it's your Achilles heel, but it is a part of your ankle joint, is a part of the tendon that connects to the joint, which connects, of course, your feet to your calf. Well, not like to your calf, to your tibia bone. And that is also a huge injury that gets people out of sport for 6 months to 12 months as well. Hip injuries, very common. Shoulder, obviously, I've talked about with the shoulder injuries, super common, super, super bad. And of course, elbow. Like if you're going too hard in the gym and you hurt your elbow, you're going to be out for a long time as well. So your joints, man, your joints are probably the most important things that you got to take care of. And you take care of them by doing mobility work, by actually, of course, strengthening the muscles around it, because as you're strengthening the muscles around it, you're giving it more support. And of course, being careful when you're playing sports to warm up properly, to not go 100% right away, And maybe that's the mistake I've made when it comes to baseball and when it comes to just going and throwing as hard as I can. And that's why my shoulder's kind of screwed. So that's kind of one thing that I wanted to talk about. It's like my shoulders is in a bad moment because of mistakes I made. But if you want to avoid injury, your joints are the most important thing that you got to take care of. And you take care of it in the ways that I just described. So that's just a point that I want to make as well. Take care of your joints, man. Take care of your joints, especially when you get older. You're gonna find that your joints are the first things to go, right? Old people, they fall, they break their hip, right? Their hip joint gets dislodged a little bit, and then they feel that pain in their side. That's because it's their joint, and it's because you didn't have enough strength in it. Your knees, right? Knobbly knees, right? It's like that stuff, right? When you get older, if you have trained your whole life, if you've been mobile your whole life, if you've been strengthening your joints in the area around it and your muscles your whole life, doing resistance training, when you're older, you're going to be feeling the benefits of that as well. When you're older, and when a lot of people, when they're older, they hurt their knees quickly and easily, they hurt their hips, they hurt their shoulders way too easily, you'll have a lot more strength and you'll have a lot more structure. You'll maybe delay the inevitable osteoporosis and arthritis and all that stuff that kind of happens to really everyone as they get to a certain age. You'll delay that by as long as possible, by longer periods of time, because you were disciplined, because you took care of your body, you took care of your joints, you took care of your muscles, you trained resistance, you trained cardio, and you played a lot of sports and all that kind of stuff, and you had a good balance of that. If you can do that throughout your life, you'll see the benefits when you're older, but you will also see the benefits now because you're reducing by a drastic amount your risk of getting injured right now and snapping something in your knee or in your shoulder, in your hip or wherever, right? So your joints are super important. Not talked about as much, but super, super important. So I do want to stress that, as I myself have hurt my shoulder playing baseball. I do want to stress that you do have to take care of your joints. So that was maybe the second thing. The first thing was the whole early morning stuff. The second thing I want to talk about was the whole joint stuff and my injury. And the final thing that I wanted to talk about was I was thinking about the fact that literally I've been in Canada for a year now, right? I went to go make it pro. I tried my best out in Portugal and Spain, playing football, doing my best. It has now been a full year to the day since I have landed and been back in Canada. Obviously, I went to Spain again. Like, it wasn't like I've just been in this country staying put exactly here for a whole year. Like, it's, of course, there have been a lot of different things that have happened. Like, I've gone to different cities around the country of Canada. Like, I went to Montreal, I went to Niagara, I did those things. I haven't been put in Toronto my whole time. And when I was doing door-to-door sales, of course, I was going to all of these rural places in Ontario as well, which were pretty far away from Toronto. And obviously I went to Spain and did the trial in Spain, and spent, of course, a little bit of time in Portugal as well, because I laid over in Portugal, so I was obviously good. And so I wasn't in Canada for the whole year. Like, I haven't been put in this exact place for a whole year. I've done a few things. But it's just interesting for me to think about the last year in my life, how things have kind of come and gone, and obviously nearing the end of the show, right? Like, I only started the show like a month or so after I came back, because I decided, oh yeah, well, now I have the time. I'm not really in the scene anywhere near as much when it comes to football. So I had the idea to do the 365 podcast a while back, and then I decided to start it. And now we're here, we're approaching the end of the show, but we're also approaching kind of different times in my life. So I look back at a year ago where I was at versus where I am now. Sometimes it feels like in life you're stagnating, but really I look back to where I was back then to where I am now, and I really improved so much, man. Like, I really did grow so much in who I am, in my faith, in developing my relationship with God, and developing the things that I'm dealing with, going through some actual real life experiences and realizing where I need to improve and where I need to do better in, going through some depressing periods in my life. I'm trying my best to get out of it. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I'm trying my best to stay positive and not be in those depressing moments. But I had those depressing moments, and now I've kind of come out of the other side of those things, and I'm still trying to figure out in my life. I'm still trying to figure out where I want to go, what I want to do, who I want to be. But I think I'm definitely in a better place now than I was a year ago. When I came back to Canada, literally the room that I'm recording this podcast in was still an absolute mess. This room used to be like the dirtiest, like, it was a storage room. There was literally toys and all sorts of crap everywhere. And then my first project when I came back was I cleaned this room and turned it into my office, and then subsequently the office became the podcast space, of course. So even a year ago, things were very different, and then I made the change and I made it happen. But yes, I came back to Canada. It was an adjustment period. I found that that things were very tough for me, that I actually fell short so much, right? Charlie Kirk died. Like, we're approaching like the year anniversary of that as well. It's only a couple weeks away. And I remember my time, I'm mentioning that because I remember when that happened. I got into some terribly angry moments where I would get into huge arguments with people around me about the situation because I let these emotions get the better of me. And it was that simple. Is that political situation? It was a tough situation because obviously it's a crazy thing that happened. But I would let it get the better of me, and I would let it become like, like me versus the other people, right? It's like, if you don't agree with me on this thing, you're my enemy. And I would be very, very angry. And that's what those types of things that I learned and I developed moved me away from those political things. And of course, remembering the teaching of God and remembering the Holy Word, the Holy Bible, that obviously anger is not a good emotion to feel. So I've been learning to control my anger, and I think that was a big thing that was hurting me a year ago. Like not exactly a year ago, but like a year ago, like 11 months ago type of time, 10 months ago, anger was a big problem. I think I'm doing better now, and I think I've definitely grown on that front, and I've grown in many other things in my life around during that time as well. Like, obviously, like, I think about like how young I am into the Christian faith. Like, it makes me think about it, right? Because it was only last year that I read the Bible cover to cover. And then around this exact time a year ago, I was reading through the New Testament for the second time. So I've only read through it like a couple times. Like, I haven't actually I remember a few verses, but I'm actually not like that well versed. Like, I don't remember everything from the Bible, and I'm actually rereading the New Testament again right now during this current time in my life. But the point is, it's like, I actually had a lot of room to grow back then. I felt like I was in a good moment, but it was a huge transition period. We're still in a transition period because, of course, my whole identity was I'm trying to make it pro in football, and now I'm trying to move, and now I'm like moving away from it. Like, maybe I don't have to move away from it, but it's just that psychology that, okay, I'm not in Europe anymore, so it's just not the same anymore, right? It's not the same. So that's been something I've been having to deal with, but it makes me feel like I'm stagnating. But reality is, I've actually grown so much in the last year since I came back from Spain and from Portugal, and since those things ended, since the trial ended, and since things have been different, I have grown so much. Right? I look back on the year, and I look back on the things I went through. Right, doing the door-to-door sales, and then of course having a good Christmas break, training hard for the trial that I went to in Spain, actually doing the trial, learning from the mistakes I made on that trial, and then of course working at the gym, the depression state that I was having in those times, but then making a little bit of money though, eventually quitting, doing my personal training stuff, doing some certifications and stuff, doing a little bit of coaching with my team, with my local club, coaching there, the experience of doing that, enjoying the summer a little bit, the fun trips I did with friends, things that we did, some overnight stuff. And now we're coming back, and then there's this new era that's coming up in my life, the new era, which is going back to school, trying to find a job. Like, I want to find a job, I want to work, that's what I'm working towards. I'm applying for jobs every day now. I'm just trying to find somewhere. It doesn't have to be personal training. If it's a personal training job, that's great. But just anywhere that I can just make a little bit of money on the side, where I'm balancing going to school versus work versus coaching, trying to have that all kind of together so that I'm truly, again, putting eggs in the basket of the person that I want to become, working hard, being disciplined, waking up early, getting it done, and making a little bit of money while I do it, of course, as well. So that's what I'm working towards as well. But I look back on the year, I look back on the things I went through, I look back on the times that have kind of made me realize certain things. I've grown a lot, man, and it's been a full year since I made that initial flight, coming back to Canada and making that decision. Okay, we're not going to spend another year in Portugal. We're going to come back to Canada. It was official that happened, and it was a very tough time. Like, there have been, like, since the month of August 2025, I haven't had a month like that. Like, that was such a great month. There were so many amazing experiences in that month. And at the end of the year last year, when I reflected on the best month of 2025, it was that month of August. I have not had a month like that ever since. I have not had a month where I can look back on it. It's like the overarching point of that month was it was so good. There were so many memories made. There were so many moments shared with many amazing people, new and old. And it's just not the same anymore. Like, it just hasn't been the same since then. I have not had a month like that. I have had some pretty terrible months, some pretty dark and depressing months, some pretty grindy months, grinding my teeth months since since that point last year, since August of last year. And now we're in August of this year. It's just not the same. But I can still look back and I can still see how much I've grown. And I can see that at least I'm in a better mental state than I was September, October of last year. And even throughout points of the beginning of this year as well. So even if it's never going to be the same, hopefully I can still make many more great memories. Hopefully I can still have some more good months that I can look back on in the future and truly appreciate. But for me, it's just a reflection point for me. That's the fact that it's now been a full year. And it's like, yeah, like it hasn't flown by. It really hasn't flown by. Like I can really see how it's been a full year. Like I don't look back and it's like, really? It's been a year? Man, like time flies, right? Time only flies when you're having fun. If you're not having fun, it is a drag. And it has been a drag for real. Because I'm really trying to find my identity again. Because I'm trying to find my feet again in this life and truly achieve great things, right? But I'm still trying to figure it out. I really am trying to figure it out in my life. And that's the truth. It really has been a transitional year. But the truth is I have grown a lot. I have grown a lot in many different ways. And it's good to just sit there and appreciate that even if it feels like I haven't grown, I actually have. I actually have grown, and hopefully there's more growth to come because I'm dedicating my life to just growing every day, improving every day, giving up to God every day, putting Him first in all that I do and all that I say. Even on this podcast, I try my best to talk about the Word and to talk about God and talk about my faith in what I do in my life. I've been growing in faith and I've been growing in all these things throughout the last year. And of course, as I'm ending the 365 podcast, there'll be more milestones. There'll be more things that we look back on in the next few weeks and few months where I'm like, oh, it was a year since these things started. This is kind of the first thing. It's been a year since I decided to come back to Canada. And since kind of things have been different and how I've been trying to reset and regroup and try to move in a better direction. I'm still working on it. It's still a transitional period, but it gives me a little bit of kind of peace to know that yes, I have grown a lot, and there has been a lot of improvement in the last year. Hopefully, there is a lot more to come. So that was the last thing I wanted to talk about, which I was just kind of reminiscing and thinking about. Yeah, it's been a year since all of these things came to pass, and it's been a year, and I've been going through all these experiences, and I've been documenting all of these experiences through the 365 podcast, through the show. Some episodes have gotten decent views, but for the most part, not a lot of people watch these episodes. Honestly, by this point, I'm at the point in the show where I'm okay with it. Like, it is just a side project. It is just a hobby. It's not going to blow up into anything crazy. But it is just, like, literally my autobiography. It literally is just, like, me going through and talking about the things that I'm thinking about in life, different lessons, talking about the Holy Word, talking about God, trying to glorify God, trying to spread the right message about God, about faith, and just about life in general. And, of course, going through my own experiences, things that I'm dealing with. And kind of things that I'm trying to improve in my life. Like, that's been the podcast. That's been the overarching themes of the podcast. And that's kind of what I'm going to continue for this last, like, just a little bit over a month of the show. But yes, I'm at the point where it's like, it's not going to blow up, but it's still a good thing for me to just reminisce, to look back on, and to just look at how much I've grown and just look back on some of these episodes that I've made in the past about those exact times in my life and how I've gotten so much better. So I appreciate that fact. And I kind of come here and I kind of nearing the end of this episode, this reflective type of episode, and I appreciate that fact. So for you in your life, the message with this part of the episode, obviously, like, it's a 3-part episode, I'm just talking about different things. The message for you is like the value for you is like, you have to realize actually, like, in a year's time, so much can happen. In a year's time, sometimes it flies by, but if it flew by, it's because either things were boring and repetitive or because you were having a great old time. And if you're having a great old time, you can, instead of being like, whoa, it's already been a year, appreciate that you had a grand old time and appreciate that you enjoyed a lot of that time during the year. But if it was because you were just kind of stagnating, doing the same thing every day, not actually growing and improving, that's something for you to think about how you can grow during the next phase of your life. But reality is, like, a year's a long time. And a year, a lot of things can happen. And I look at my life and I look at how much I've changed, how much I've grown just in the last year. There has been a lot where I've been growing, I've been improving, I've been transitioning from different parts of my life. And there's still a lot more to come. There's still a lot more to come, but that's kind of what I've been dealing with in my life. Those are the things that I have been thinking about in this current time in my life. So again, a real podcaster's podcast, a real just me going through different things, different ideas, concepts. Basically 3-part podcast really in the end. But I hope that there are some messages in this. I hope that there is some value for you guys coming out of this episode. if you've made it to this point, I hope that it was entertaining. I hope that some of the things that I've been talking about were interesting today, and that you can learn some things for yourself, that there is value for yourself, that there is the right message out there for you that you can apply to your life as well. That's kind of the thing that I try to go for with this show, to give value, to tell good stories, to have a good blend of entertainment and interesting topics, and also value for you, the viewer. Try to be funny. Maybe it wasn't the funniest episode, but I feel like there were some interesting things talked about in there that, at least for me, I look back on and I have a little bit of a laugh about, because I look back on the times and, well, things have been kind of depressing, but at the same time I laugh at the fact that I laugh at the fact that sometimes I make the exact same mistakes over and over again, when I realize there's the tried and true way that I've been living my life that was good for me in the past, that I just have to keep working towards. When it comes to the waking up early, when it comes to the taking care of myself, the recovery aspect of life, and when it comes to just the life of self-improvement and the life of growth. So it's funny to think about the fact that I make the same mistakes and I just have to keep my head down and keep working, right? That is also what you should be doing as well in your life as well. So that is this episode. That is what I've been talking about today. That is the Podcaster's Podcast, just talking about different concepts, different things I'm thinking about, just truly putting it out there, giving you guys some good value, telling some good stories, going through the things of my life and making it as truly like the autobiography of the things I'm going through in my life. So, of course, as I enter into this next season in my life, I will give you guys the update. I will break down the specifics of things that are going to be going on. But that's it for this episode. That is it for what I'll be talking about today. So thank you for watching this episode of the 365 Podcast. That is all I got to say for today. If you did enjoy this episode, I ask that you show your support on the show in any way that you can by leaving a like, subscribing on YouTube, following on Spotify, leaving a comment, let me know what you think. Let me know how your last year was. Let me know how your 2026 has been so far. Has it been good? Has it been bad? How can you do better? You should dedicate a life to self-improvement. That's like the ultimate message throughout all of this. And of course, give it to God. Put Him first in all things and in all ways. But any other way you can support the show, watch some of the other great videos I've made on this show. I leave them in the cards in the description, as I always do at the end of every single episode. And that's really all I got to say for today. Continue to glorify God every day throughout your life. Thank you for being here, and thank you for watching this episode of the 365 Podcast. But it is time for me to sign off. As always, I will see you tomorrow for the next episode.